Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Fiend Metal, and today we're doing stupid shit. Alrighty, so it's obviously after race day. We are back at the shop, if you can tell through the very, very dirty windows. Car is pretty much unloaded at this point, but, you know, we had a great weekend. Now, the opener you just saw was the only thing I shot of myself, or wasn't the only thing I shot of myself up at high voltage. The first day, it actually snowed on us, or was trying to. It was mixed with rain and hail, but, you know, that was not the best day. Went out for a little bit, played, had a car that was completely covered in mud pretty much, and by the time it was done snowing, raining, sleeting, the car was pretty much clean. But here's a little clip. Just because it's hard to see at night because of how dark it is, the coupe is in fact a muddy popsicle. It's cold and I'm camping in this car, so. Yeah. It was also pretty much frozen. So, as you guys may or may not know, I do camp in the car on trips like that. And that is the first time in 3 years of camping in a car that I've had to run the car during the night just to stay warm enough to stay to sleep and be somewhat comfortable. It was 27 degrees outside that night. Now, yeah, I could have gone in the shop if I wanted to, but I'm stubborn. The seats are fairly comfortable. I'm used to them. So doing that was, in my opinion, my better option. But if you guys are watching this video, odds are you don't want to hear about how I slept. You want to hear about the racing. Well, Sunday rolled around, and it was foggy in the morning, but in the afternoon, we got some good fun in after we spent some time just ripping around in the mud and clearing off the track. Now, unfortunately, not a whole lot of people showed up. Robert with his side-by-side eventually showed up and did a few laps, and I've got those. But I started out, out there playing around with me, Lee, and Sean, having fun. And here's some clips of that. So yeah, I mean, we're out having a blast, doing our thing. Also, I got some fun clips. Lee and Sean went out on track together. Alrighty, so I am actually back. Sorry I cut the video there. It was just one of my customers showed up. We were supposed to be going to look at a car, which ended up being a decent car, but not. The dealership wanted double what it should have been selling for. So, you know, it is what it is. As I was saying, after the first round where we were all going out individually, Sean and Lee went out and were doing tandem work, which is getting out and trying to do like tandem drifts in the mud. But unfortunately, you know, you want to leave enough leeway for not hitting each other and having time to react. On dry pavement, you can, or on dry surfaces, you can get that a little bit closer. But on wet surfaces, it's significantly harder to do. So, you know, here's them going out and trying to tandem, and they got somewhat close to each other eventually, but once Sean got his car's issue figured out, but you know, here it is. So yeah, they actually, you know, they were pretty close. I mean, a couple car lengths away from each other, which in slick conditions, your car can slide a couple of car lengths pretty easily like that. So, you know, having fun versus risk, in my opinion, they're just both playing it pretty safe, and especially having passengers out there for filming purposes. Not my footage. I'm not going to share it here. But, you know, they're both good drivers, and I had no doubt that they would not be in contact with each other. So, that's always good to know. I mean, you don't want people out there who are going to be playing bumper cars, necessarily. After that, though, Robert showed up, and he proceeded to do one of the longest continuous drift sessions of the day. Of course, those side-by-sides, they are not even comparable to our cars. I mean, I think its side-by-side cost over $20,000 more than my car at this point. So, just a comparison. But here is some of the footage and a little longer clip of him to show what he was doing, because he was basically doing this big loop back and around and having fun and doing a really good job at driving like usual. So, yeah, Robert was absolutely killing it on track. And, unfortunately, with only 4 of us there was a very limited amount of footage. Very limited amount of footage of my car. But, I was just out having fun and practicing and getting used to the car. I need to get more used to how it acts. I need to figure out, what it takes to get it to behave the way I want it to, how early I have to commit to turns to get slides going, especially with the limited amount of horsepower I have. I have to commit pretty dang early to some of those turns, and it's unnerving because I mean one of the clips I know I was like pointed towards the center, like I was pointed towards the inside of the corner before I should have been turning in if it was dry. So, just one of those things. But I think that's pretty much it for today. I didn't get a whole lot of footage, and that's unfortunate, but, one day of racing and only 4 drivers out there, there's not going to be a whole lot going on. We're just going to be out screwing around and having fun. I did, however, get a chance to clean off the car. So I did a full pressure wash of the car. I haven't actually washed it yet, but, it's cleaner. It's not completely caked in mud still, so that's an upside. But if you can see them back there, there's 2 boxes. And those boxes are very important because we finally got the parts from Amazon for the finishing up the wagon in the shop. And to go with those, yesterday, Sean gave me a set of 2011 to 2014 WRX, a full set of suspension for WRX minus top hats, which I'll be looking into how I can use. My primary thing was the springs. I was interested in the heavier duty springs because the WRXs are heavier, but we're going to see what we can make work out of that stuff. And maybe we'll have some modifications coming for the wagon and the coupe. I know the rear struts are obviously different because they're single bolt style, not they don't bolt to a spindle like my current setup. But, just as stuff to play around with, we'll have some stuff to do in the future. if you guys are liking what you're seeing and you want to see more of it, especially now that racing season is coming back on, feel free to like and subscribe down below. You can also check us out over on Instagram and Twitter, also down below. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Talk to you in the next video.